incest is so sporadic. It can really be going on under your nose and you will have absolutely no idea about it. Growing up, we heard our parents tell us things like, oh, if you're touched inappropriately, report. But let me tell you the truth. If for any reason somebody that they really respect and they attach a lot of trust to does something to them, their body is their right. They should learn to say no to matters like this and to make sure they report this case. Welcome back to our chat session. Today is going to be a solo chat on a matter that is often overlooked. Another December is upon us, and guess what? Another incest spree. Yes, you heard that right. It's been proven over time that most of the child sexual abuse cases are intrafamilial, meaning that most times it's people within their spaces that abuse these children. Incest is sexual relationship between persons of the same lineage, or persons within close consanguinity. By consanguinity, I mean persons that are related by blood. Now, biblically speaking, you're not supposed to have anything sexual to do with your relation down to the 4th generation. That is for Christians now. But legally and socially speaking, it is a taboo. It has been forbidden in our society here in Nigeria, alongside so many other societies. In fact, societies that used to embrace it in the past have started to forbid it because of the problem that it causes. Some persons actually believe that they are in love with their family members. And I'm here to let you know that that is not love. That's crazy. There is little or no statistical knowledge on incest rates, owing to the stigma around it and owing to underreportedness of the situation. Most times you have people that die in silence because it is a family matter. And if we're being honest, most times family matters just end very carelessly. The abuser is not punished, the abused is not protected. Let's go over to the roots of this matter. What really brings up these issues? What springs these ideas and what makes them enforceable? Once there is control in a family, power is directed to a particular set of persons. There is every chance that those sets of persons might want to exploit it in the wrong way. Now, over to something else we call. Many a times you have parents actively chasing the bag, the mother, the father, and the children are just left carelessly. Or let's say they are left in the hands of some other persons. In as much as you're chasing the bag, there is need to communicate with your children, there's need to understand their behavioral patterns. And so when there's a deflect or when there's a change in their patterns, you understand that something must be off and learn to interrogate them. In our absence, we cannot comprehend the kind of things that go on. So parental neglect is a very, very serious matter that has to be looked into. To the persons that develop these ideas and refuse to speak out, because it's possible that you start to have these imaginations, but the moment you don't look out a solution, the chances of leveraging on that thought will be very, very high. Now we go over to people that abuse substances and people that have mental health issues, people that are depressed and all of that. Sometimes it just makes them feel better that, oh, they have this person to fulfill their fantasy. There's a need to seek out help, especially if for any reason those kind of thoughts come to your mind. Cultural silence and shame is like a taboo to talk about sex in most cultures. It's a taboo to talk about sex in families. And because of that, when those kind of things happen to children, they feel like it is too embarrassing to even tell it to their parents. You need to create an environment where your child is comfortable enough to relate certain things to you. They should be able to know when boundaries are being overstepped. They should be able to know how to say no. They should be able to communicate with you, basically. You see this thing where they say, oh, I went to my cousin's house to learn work. I went to stay with my uncle so that he'd take me to school. Most at times, those cases end up wrong because they are taken advantage of. So in that kind of scenario, you have both the absence of parental guidance. So yes, parental negligence is involved. You also still have the power imbalance there. And then you now have victim vulnerability because you know that this child lives and breathes through you. So you now start to think that, oh, you have this position to take advantage of the child. Let's talk about the possible impacts of this kind of activity, including the psychological impacts, the physical impacts, the emotional and social impacts. There was an interview Oprah Winfrey had with 3 child abusers, 2 of which abused their family members, they committed incest. And it was very clear to me that sexual abuse should be pleasurable, and whether or not it's pleasurable these impacts are the same. The self-esteem issue is such an issue. They develop very low self-esteem. For persons that are unable to even communicate this to anybody, they start to be very much in their head. They might have suicidal thoughts, okay? Over to the physical implications. The chances of unwanted teenage pregnancy, and many times they are made to do unsafe abortions, yes. And if for any reason that child is even brought into the world, it will first of all wreck the family. You have children with very weird disabilities. They might not even show it physically, but when you interact with them, you know they have cognitive impairment. Over to the social and emotional effects. And in cases like this, their primary goal is to protect the family reputation. They don't really care so much for the abuser nor the abused. They don't really care that the abuser does not get punished. They don't really care that the abused doesn't feel protected. You have things like isolation, and in the long term, this person suffer difficulty in forming relationships due to distrust. Persons that we trust so much, persons that supposedly care so much for us, can actually want to have sex relationships with us. Is a truth that we must come to terms with, because if we're not in terms with those truths, it means that our guards will be so low. And the moment your guards are low, trust me, anything can happen under your nose. So what role do we have to play? Number one, education and open communication. Are you a parent? Are you an aunt, a sister, a brother, a senior sibling? You need to establish an environment where your siblings or your younger ones can openly communicate to you. You need to teach them audacity. Because if they are not audacious enough to say no to the abuser, then they won't even be audacious enough to tell you what is happening to them. In fact, everybody is a suspect until proven not guilty. We need to learn to be very vigilant, because there is need for early detection. Once your child's behavioral pattern changes, as we said before, once the child is a little bit more isolated, just anything awkward, try to engage the child, try to know what is up, what exactly is going on. Because early detection, you can never undermine the impact of early detection. For once it's coming from family, it means that you're going to constantly see this person, and the chances of it repeating itself is 100. Over to persons that have lived through situations like this. Some persons are still in situations like this. You need to seek out therapy, seek out social support. Talk to somebody you trust, talk to somebody that cares, that really does care for you. And if you have the means to follow it up legally, please do. Our schools, our religious institutions, and other social groups should also make sure that they teach this to children. They teach this to younger family members, because it's not just the children, it happens to teenagers, it happens to adults that are relatively younger than these persons have described. If for any reason a case like this comes to your table, you have every reason to fight it till the end, and to see that the offender is punished and the victim protected. With all this said, I hope we now understand that silence protects the abuser, not the abused. It might even be your child, or somebody that you really care about. So we need to speak on matters like this and make sure that things are done properly and justice is served. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video to your younger ones so that they are informed and ready for the December that is coming. Happy Christmas, guys. Your primary role in this movement is to educate your child, educate your younger sibling, educate your younger cousins. Let them know that these things exist. Even the persons that care for them might want to misuse